morning, YouTube family and friends. Today is February the 1st, and we are so happy to be back with you guys for another fantastic show. I am also going to give a shout out, as I have started to do. Today's shout out is going out to some fellow players that I played baseball with at Texas Southern University. They followed my show, and I told the guys that I was going to shout out to them and let them know that I appreciate them. These are guys that I played with back in the day. Ralph Kelly, Ron Holmes, Rodney Garrison, Cecil Johnson, Oliver Gregg, Tommy Brown, James Graham, Wayne Graham. And just to make sure I'm not forgetting any of my guys, let me take a quick look. Otis Irving, my homeboy. How could I forget him? These are people that, once again, I played baseball with at Texas Southern University. And another separate shout out is going to go out to one of my top listeners and fans, Jay Williams. Jay, I want to thank you for getting my name out in the general public. And I look forward to seeing you at the next basketball game. Today's episode is sponsored by two of my first sponsors that I greatly appreciate. Dr. Phyllis Morgan, a dentist located on Stella Link. Also, Gerald Womack, a developer located here in 3rd Ward, Texas, as you see I'm highlighting today. These are two great people that have come aboard. And all you other listeners that are contemplating maybe getting your name out of your business, give us a thought and a shout. You can always email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. This is how these two individuals got in touch with me also. Let me jump right off into my HBCUs as I always do. Today we have some fantastic news for me, because just last show I was talking about hopefully we can, when I say we, Texas Southern University, could do something for our athletes under the NIL privileges now. Name, image, and likeness. I don't care the amount, but hopefully some of the supporters of Texas University are listening. And possibly if they aren't, if you know some, let them know that it doesn't amount, whatever the amount is that's given to these players. It's just a thought. And what I mean by that is, wow. Let me give you this information. I just found out that Grambling State University has an NIL deal for all its scholarship athletes. Let me say that one more time. Grambling State has a deal for all of its scholarship athletes. And I'm talking about football, baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, you name it. Each one of those kids are going to get a little piece of money. And I say a little piece because when I was going to college, if I got $20, that would have been a big piece for me. So I'm not demeaning whatever amount they're getting, but two companies have jumped on board to say that they're willing to give Grambling a NIL contract for all of its athletes, scholarship now. Scholarship walk-ons, they won't be eligible, but scholarship athletes will get a portion of this funds. Which leads me to that it's the first of its kind, regardless. NCAA D1 schools, Michigan, USC, Texas A&M. This school is the first one to get a deal for all of its scholarship athletes. I think that is tremendous. That lets me know somebody is working over at Grambling, and hopefully we're doing the same thing. JSU has always tried to get, not always, but since this has been available to them, has had a few of their players. And just recently, Deion's son, Shador, is the first college athlete, not just SWAC or HBCU or whatever. He's the first college athlete to sign a deal with Gatorade. What a tremendous signing for JSU and the SWAC. Now, my friend and I were talking, and they was like, do you think Coach Prime had anything to do with it? I'm sure he had something to do with it, but I'm not mad at him. Once again, just watch my shows, and I always tell everyone, let's not get mad at Coach Prime because of what he's doing for JSU. I've had someone tell me that, well, it's not for the whole SWAC nation, but in an indirect way it is. Because when he does something for JSU, it brings attention to the SWAC. And so as I have been saying all year long, take advantage of that. Don't hate, just take advantage of that. The fact that you in the SWAC can go out and try to manipulate your university's name into being able to get such a deal. Now we're going to go off into the transfers. One more time. Coach Prime has done a tremendous job on that, but Hugh Jackson is stepping up his pace. And Willie Simmons at FAMU is stepping up his pace also. Coach at Alabama A&M has started to pick up some transfers. So this is what I'm saying. Ride the wave of what Coach Prime is doing. Get out there. Let people know, hey, we in the SWAC also. We play Jackson State. So let's get our name out there. So an update on some D1 transfers, just a few, because I don't have the time to go over every college. But one, Grambling, because Hugh Jackson is new and he's making noise already. Hugh Jackson has, I think I've spoke about it in a previous episode, but I'm just going to cover it again. They're getting a quarterback from UCLA. They're getting a transfer wide receiver from the University of Arizona. They're getting a 4-star. Now, let me get your attention. I happened to see this kid, Maurice Washington, a 4-star running back, the highlights from Nebraska when he played there. This guy is a game breaker and a game changer. And this is not one of TSU's players. This is a Grambling State player. And it doesn't matter to me because it makes me feel good to see that someone went out and got someone of that caliber. Because you know what? It lets the other universities know that, hey, if you put your nose to the grindstone and work, you never know. One of these kids may say, yeah, I'll come to your college. And so Maurice Washington, look out for him at Grambling State, a game changer. Running back punch, running back kids catching the ball out the backfield and running with it. He's coming from Nebraska to Grambling. And then they're getting a DB from SMU. Also what he's done is he's gone out and gotten 3 commitments that were transfers in going supposedly to Southern University. But he has stepped in and made them detour to Grambling State. And I love it because just because someone says that, okay, we're going to go here, doesn't mean that has to be so. Get the kid in front of you, talk to him, tell him what you think your thoughts are for him and your program and how he can succeed in it. Hey, anything is possible. Let me show you. Grambling gets 3 previous SU commits, Southern University. Jason Greathouse, Defensive Player of the Year. Let me say that one more time. Jason Greathouse, Defensive Player of the Year, National Junior College Association. So this guy is anticipated to step right in and start. So he was committed to Southern. Now he's flipped to GSU, Grambling State University. You never know. Another player, Devin Bush, a DB from Arkansas, that had said he was going to Southern, going to Grambling now. Dante Starks, a linebacker from LSU, right in Southern's backyard, has changed his mind and said he's going to Grambling State. I mean, it's possible. You just have to work. You know, it's not easy. You know, just being in the Southwestern Athletic Conference is not easy for these coaches, players, and schools and universities. But you have to work to try to make your school better and to come up to the level of the other universities. As I heard Bubba McDowell, who's the new coach at Prairie View, and once again on one of my earlier episode podcasts, when the coach at Prairie View resigned and went to Southern, and Prairie View made him an interim coach, I made the statement that Bubba McDowell is ready to become a head coach. And I would like to say that the PV Athletic Administration was listening to this show, but I doubt it very seriously. But we were on the same, wavelength on looking at his credentials. He's been in the SWAC for 10 years. TSU, Prairie View. I thought he was ready, and so evidently Prairie View thinks he is. I think Butler will do a good job at Prairie View. He's already said that, in the state of Texas, all these big schools can't get all the players. So he anticipates hit the floor running. I'm curious, one more time, today is February 1st, Tuesday. Tomorrow is National Signing Day for football. And I will have this report on my next show. But I look for Bubba McDowell to do really good. I'm really anxious to see what all the colleges are going to do. And definitely here in Houston. We have some news in regards to the SWAC. The SWAC commissioner, Mr. McClellan, has decided that, and I'm looking at the intricacies of the deal. He has made a deal for the SWAC playing 3 years consecutive of classics in Birmingham, Alabama. And people say, we got to go to Birmingham, Alabama, but here's the deal. The city of Birmingham, they will provide incentives to the SWAC school in the amount of $200,000. So basically the schools come there for free. It's nothing coming out of their budget. They put them up. They give them the stadium rent free. So there's an opportunity for them to make money. And the city of Birmingham realizes that the SWAC travels well, certain schools. And so this is why they've made these three schools the first three. You got Jackson State is going to play in 2 games. Jackson right now, Coach Prime is hot, and I know people are going to say Jackson State gets this and gets that. But hey, my words to everyone is beat Jackson State. Even with Coach Prime doing all of this. It's possible. So, one more time, the city of Birmingham have opened their arms and their pocketbook to the SWAC. $200,000 to the schools and to the conference. No cost for your schools, bands, and everybody to come. Stadium is free because the city understands the money that it will earn. So I think it's a good thing. You kind of got mixed ideas on this. I've talked to other people because they're giving up home games and what have you, but it's all about, one more time, the money. And so the second year, they're going to pledge $300,000 the second and third year that they're going to give to the SWAC. So that's like about $800,000 in a 3-year period of time that the SWAC will get from Birmingham with no charge for the schools going to participate in the classics. I think it's a pretty good idea because the SWAC needs the money. All black HBCU conferences need it. A little side tidbit, there was a HBCU, or not actually HBCU, but there was an all-star game for college players, and Aquill Glass out of Alabama A&M, the quarterback who I stated at the beginning of the football season that after Coach Prime and a few other people upset that not one player from HBCU was drafted, this is a guy that I said at the beginning of the season that I'm curious to see what the NFL is going to do because I think he's going to get drafted, along with the kid from Jackson State, the defensive terror. I'm almost positive he's going to get drafted. FAMU has a DB that's out of sight. He should get drafted. So I think things are picking up and so forth as the NFL draft for the HBCUs, namely the SWAC. Okay, still in HBCU. I cover the SWAC because that's where we're located in the heart of the SWAC, and that's where I played, and that's where my school is, TSU. But the MEAC, I also report on all conferences. As I did last week, I gave a shout out to Bowie State for going to the third round in the NCAA D3. You know, because it's nothing but love for my HBCUs. Norfolk State loses to North Carolina Central University in the MEAC. Norfolk State is just like TSU. They've had a great basketball program for a little while here, along with North Carolina Central, and they were undefeated with a 15-4 record until they played North Carolina Central last night, and they lost 70-67. Staying on the MEAC, North Carolina A&T, but you know what? Let me correct that. North Carolina A&T is a previous MEAC participant. They've gone to another conference, a D1 conference. But anyway, they're still an HBCU. Norfolk State, great news. Norfolk State has been named the #1 track and field college team for the year. Let that sink in. You got LSU, USC, Texas A&M, major Oregon, major track programs that North Carolina A&T is the #1 predicted track team in the nation. They have Texas Tech #2. They have University of Texas #3. They have University of Georgia #4 and Kentucky. But I want to give a shout out to North Carolina A&T for being chosen the #1 track and field team for the upcoming year. They have a tremendous coach, Byron Ross, and his son is super fantastic. He won the quarter last year in the NCAA, and they're already doing great things in the indoor. So keep your eyes and ears open for North Carolina A&T. A few more HBCU updates, and we're going to go into the SWAC now. Let me give you the standings first in men's basketball for SWAC. You got Southern University is 7-2. FAMU is 7-2. Grambling State is 7-2. TSU is 6-3. Alcorn 6-3. Alabama A&M 4-5. Alabama State 4-5. Prairie View 4-5. Bethune-Cookman 3-6. UAPB 3-6. Jackson State is 2-7. And Mississippi Valley State is 1-8. Women's side, you got Jackson State women is 9-0. They just running through the conference. They had their biggest game. They test Southern. They beat them last week. Southern is 7-2. Alabama A&M is 6-3. Alabama State 6-3. UAPB 5-4. Grambling State 5-4. TSU 5-4. Prairie View 4-5. FAMU 3-6. Bethune-Cookman 2-7. Alcorn 1-8. And Mississippi Valley 1-8. So those are the standings for the SWAC basketball. We go here to most recent games played. Now, once again, viewing audience and Facebook family, this show is taped every other week, drops on a Friday. So I'm going to give you the games from last Saturday and last night, Monday, January 31st, January 29th. Okay, we're going to start off with the men. On last Saturday, some great games. We had FAMU beat Alabama A&M. And by the way, FAMU and TSU are going to play Saturday at 2 o'clock on the NBA channel. Let me say that one more time. FAMU and TSU are going to play on the NBA channel. The women and the men are going to be on TV. What a great accomplishment. The SWAC is going to be shown nationally, the women and the men. So that should be a good game. FAMU is showing that they're going to be tough. TSU, I feel like we are finally understanding that every gym we walk into an arena, they are waiting on TSU. So you have to have your game face on from the beginning. FAMU beat Alabama A&M again. UAPB beat Mississippi Valley. Alcorn beat Southern. Big win for them. Grambling State beat Jackson State. Texas Southern beat Prairie View. We happened to go to that game Saturday in Prairie View. Great atmosphere. It was on national TV, ESPNU. We pulled it out. The score is 75-74. We made it a little closer than what it was, but Prairie View never gave up. If we hit our free throws, it's not as close as it was, but hey, ifs and buts. But we still were able to pull it out. Texas Southern. Alabama State beat Bethune-Cookman. Now on Monday, last night, January 31st, Alabama A&M beat Bethune-Cookman. Grambling beat Alcorn. Southern beat Jackson State. FAMU beat Alabama State in a nail biter, 66-65. And on the women's side, last night, Alabama State beat FAMU. Jackson State beat Southern. Grambling beat Alcorn. Alabama A&M beat Bethune-Cookman. On the women's side for Saturday, Mississippi Valley beat UAPB. Alabama A&M beat FAMU. Jackson beat Grambling. Alabama State beat Bethune-Cookman. TSU beat Prairie View. And Southern beat Alcorn. So it looks like basketball, you got about 3 teams for now, and it looks like they're above everyone, but I'm thinking on even any given Monday or Saturday, which is generally when they play, anybody can beat anybody in the SWAC that this year looks like. So I'm looking for this stuff to go down to the wire. And one more time, do not miss that game. Do not miss that game, FAMU and TSU, Saturday on NBA. Okay, we're going to go on. And what we're going to do now is talk a little NFL. I don't know what to say about Kansas City, the Chiefs. 21-3. Well, Pat Mahomes said it best. He said, we lead 21-3. You cannot lose that game. I absolutely agree with him. As great as he is, you know, that was not his best game. There were some throws and some decisions made by him that cost him the game, I feel, along with some other things. But we give him a lot of praise, so we got to let him know when he kind of let him down a little bit. Because actually, I felt like Buffalo played well enough the previous week to beat Kansas City. It's just that they could not get across the finish line. They choked up and gave Kansas City an opportunity to win, and they took advantage of it, which is what Kansas City, I feel like, did to Cincinnati. Instead of closing them out, they kept them in the game, and Cincinnati decided, okay, they don't want it, we'll take it. So Cincinnati beat Kansas City, I think was a colossal upset. Don't get me wrong, when a team makes it to the championship, they're all good, but Kansas City had no business losing to Cincinnati, in my opinion. Rams beat the 49ers. That was a pretty good game. I think that the Rams defense, as I said, once again, I always come back to if I made a prediction. And also, I'll do it if I just said something wrong also. But I came back and I said that the Rams, I think, can beat anybody with the defense they have. And they got a nice offense. So if you don't score like 24 points, I don't think you can beat the Rams. And it's going to be hard scoring 24 points on the Rams defense. And so the 49ers, I think, made some bad decisions, but I just think the Rams are a better team, even though the 49ers have beat them twice this year. I think that the Rams are actually going to win the Super Bowl. I think that they should put a whooping on the Bengals, actually. Bengals are good, but if the Rams are hitting on all cylinders, I think the Rams should at least beat Cincinnati by 10 points. And I know you're thinking I'm crazy because it's a Super Bowl, but I just feel like the Rams have a good team. And the Bengals are a little young right now. Okay, let's go to the NFL coaching search. There were 9 teams that were without a coach. 2 of them have been filled. The New York Giants have a new coach, and Epperfus, who is he with? Chicago Bears have their new coach and general manager. Actually, the Chicago Bears hired a black general manager. Kudos to him. And Chicago Bears. The Texans search is still going on. They're going to have Brian Flores, the last coach at the Miami Dolphins, come in for a second look. But they're so dysfunctional. They're talking about hiring a guy that only coached at high school. And because Jack Easterby and Casero, the general manager, all New England Patriots, feel like this guy is it, and they want to make him coach. And I will know if the next coach has the authority to do what he should do when he comes aboard, because Gully had no authority at all. You know, I listen to these sports talk show here in Houston, and they say the dumbest things to me about how David Culley doesn't know what he's doing and this and that, and he made bad decisions. The guy is a first-year head coach. Nobody predicted the Texans to win 4 football games, and he still had the Texans win 4 football games, and there were 4 games that they were in to the end. There was no way that David Culley should not have gotten at least another year to see if what he was doing was fruitful or was it just a hoax. So David Culley got the shaft. I don't care what anybody said. David Culley got the shaft. They want to talk about his decision making. Come on. The guy, Belichick at New England, when he's with Cleveland, all his decisions were foul. But he got 3 years before he was fired. Come on, I mean, this guy got 1 year with a team that you have other coaches and players in the NFL say that they don't know how they won 4 games. So Culley is gone, and dysfunctional Texans, I don't worry about them. So we got the Raiders, the New York Giants are looking for a coach, the Vikings, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, the Texans once again, and the Saints, which is a surprise. My production guy that's from the Louisiana area, I think he kind of hurt that Peyton left him. But, sometimes you can see the handwriting on the wall. And Peyton doesn't have his quarterback that he used to have. So I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to go another route. I think he will eventually, though. You got it? You heard it from me. Because if it happens, I'm going to definitely say it in one of my shows. I think next year, if the Cowboys don't go to the Super Bowl, forget go to the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl, Sean Payton will be coaching the Dallas Cowboys. That's just me. Deshaun Watson is still working on getting all the kinks out of the settlement. As I talked about the last show, there are a couple of 3 women that aren't on board with the 22. Out of, I think 19 of them want to do the settlement and 3 of them don't. But, so Deshaun is still messing with that. And one big news item, Tom Brady, I just learned, has decided to retire. He has nothing else to prove. I mean, the guy has won 7 Super Bowls. And as I told my cousin that's 7 that he won. That doesn't have anything to do with the 3 he went in and lost. So this guy hadn't done anything but win. That's all he knows how to do. It's almost sort of kind of like my used to be Lakers, used to be Magic. Magic dealt in nothing but championships, you know. He won 5, but he was in 5 more. So you can't beat that. And so Tom Brady, I want to give him his kudos and his flowers because he had a hell of a career. One hell of a career. NBA. I'm going to start off with the top 8 teams in the East and the West because that's who gets into the playoffs. The Bulls are top in the East. You got the Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Stop. The Cavaliers have just basically surprised everyone. Young team, young athletic players, they're learning how to win, and they are doing fantastic. 31-19. The Cavaliers from the basement to 31-19. You know what I'm saying? Probably have won as many games as they won last year already. We got the Nets, and we got the Milwaukee Bucks. I told everyone at the beginning of the season I didn't think the Milwaukee Bucks was going to go back. I'm not saying they don't have a good team, but I'm just saying I don't think the Bucks are going to go repeat. Could happen, but I just don't think so. You got the Hornets, and you got the Raptors. In the West, you got the Phoenix Suns, who I think is the best team in the NBA because they have the best field general in the NBA, and that's Chris Paul. When the Houston Rockets, let Chris Paul go, I didn't like it then, you know, because there's certain people that just win. They may not have never won a championship, but they win. And I like being in a winning mode. I like being in the mix. Wherever Chris Paul go, your team is going to be in the mix. So Chris Paul has the Suns at 40-9. The Golden State Warriors, 38-13. The 2 teams I think is going to be battled out in the West. Memphis. Let me stop on Memphis. They have an electric player, Jay Morant. This guy, you can see how he's lifting Memphis once again, just like Cleveland, from down in the dirt to up, being talked about. They have some other good young pieces, but don't get it twisted. Jay Morant is the headliner. You got the Jazz, you got the Nuggets, you got the Mavs, you got the T-Wolves, you got the Clippers, bringing up 8. And yes, I'm bringing up the Lakers. They're 9. I just still my team, but I just don't foresee us being able to turn it around. The defense is just not there. Yeah. And defense is what wins championships. We have a few older guys that can still pull their offense together sometimes, but you got to have some defense, and the older guys just not able to do that right now. So we go to a couple of injuries that I want to talk about. LeBron's knee bruise, and I agree with them sending him back to LA to let him recoup, because we got a whole nother half to go in basketball, and second part of the season that hopefully he can get them to the playoffs. I'd like to talk about Devin Booker with the Phoenix Suns. Some of you old timers may have known Phil Chenier that played with the Washington Bullets. His jumper and his game reminds me of Phil Chenier so much. It's just unbelievable. If you haven't seen Phil Chenier, YouTube him or Google him up. Tremendous jump shooter. Same way Devin Booker is. Mr. Womack is the broker and president and CEO of Womack Development Investment Realtors, a private minority-owned full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage firm. Over the years, he has been known to be a respected community businessman and partner and has received many awards. Now, he sells real estate everywhere, but his specialty is right here in 3rd Ward. This guy can get it taken care of for you. We talk sports on this show, but we also got to keep it real and talk about what's happening in the real world. Today, I am sad to hear that there have been 12 now. Let me make sure you understand. There have been 12 bomb threats made to HBCU schools. Let that sink in, 12. I don't care nothing about none of them actually occurring. It's just that it disrupts the whole operation of the university. They have to have the students getting locked down. Everything has to go viral now, or video. They have to get on video to get their classes now. So I don't feel like we are paying enough attention to that. We need to lock up a few of these guys, because trust me, I know it's hard to track down somebody making calls or sending stuff in saying there's a bomb threat. But I've been shown before by the FBI and policing services that if they want to find you, they can find you. And so I think that they need to get a grip on these threats coming to HBC universities. So that's something I want to talk about. And last but not least, I want to talk about National Signing Day. I cannot wait till tomorrow, which I will report to you guys next show. Every SWAC school's recruitment, their top stars and top players. And so with that being said, I want to thank everyone for continuing to share the news about my show, because as you see, the listening audience is increasing, and it's increasing by you doing this. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. It's free. I got people ask me sometimes, well, I didn't know how much it costs to subscribe. It's free. It's YouTube. Hit that share and share it with some friends. Hit that bell so you'll be notified every time one comes out, and write a comment. Write a comment. Tell me what you like or don't like about the show. And last but not least, go to fatlarrypodcast.com, fatlarrypodcast.com, and purchase a t-shirt. I attended one of Texas Southern's basketball game, and I was just so proud to see that one of my viewers had one of my t-shirts on. Let me know that it's getting out. Now, fatlarrypodcast.com, you can get the merchandise. Now, let me explain something, because one of my viewers and friends called and said that, hey man, I went to the website, and for the t-shirt, it only showed black. Now, here's what's happening. It's defaulting to XS, extra small, when you go there. So you have to change the size, medium, large, small, XL, 3L, or whatever. And then it'll show you all the different color t-shirts. One more time. Take the size off of XS, which is extra small, and then you can see all the color of the t-shirts that are available. And also, a little lower down below on the screen, it's going to show you our new hot item, the hoodies we got in. We got hoodies now. With this cold weather, it's perfect. I used to tell a friend that with these kids, though, they wear hoodies when it's 100 degrees. So let your people and your friends know that we have hoodies now available at fatlarrypodcast.com. A lot of times, things I speak on this show are from suggestions from my viewers. I got a homeboy that watches me religiously, always brings up good thoughts for me. So email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. That's the email, and the purchase of the hoodies and the t-shirts of fatlarrypodcast.com. So I greatly appreciate you guys, and until next week, peace out.